Hey there everyone, all the techies and data enthusiasts there. Welcome back to video 5 of Generative AI using Django series. And in this particular video, we are going to discuss about models in Django. So what is models? It's nothing but a ORM, Object Relational Mapper. So models.py we use for it. It defines the schema to database and how you can configure it and how can you connect your Django to a database that we will be discussing in detail, and how can you write a simple queries, and in Python itself how can you execute, update, delete the details to your database which will be reflected. That we'll be seeing in detail in this particular video, which is very important for us when we are going to build our chat application, so the generative AI project. So after this particular video, I guess we will start with generative AI. So what is generative AI and what are large language models? From there you will see the hype and interest. I hope you have checked the previous video as well about the urls.py and the views.py, how you write code. So if you haven't, please do check out that. So let's dive into my computer screen and discuss more about this. Before that, if you have not subscribed the channel, do subscribe the channel and on the bell notification, and please do share this video with your friends who is feeling interested in learning AI or data science. And parallelly, guys, make sure to hit the like button. You all are coming and seeing the videos, but you are not hitting the like button. So, guys, now let's get started. So, Django models, guys. So, Django is a high level Python programming web framework which is used for web development. Compared to Flask, in Django, you have many inbuilt features which are already pre-built templates kind. If you just configure that, it's enough. In Flask, you need to write everything in detail, but here if you just configure it in small minor changes, it's enough. For example, take Django ORM, Object Relational Mapper. So what is ORM? ORM bridges the gap between relational database and object-oriented language. In Django, the ORM automatically translates Python object models into database tables and rows. This means developers can perform CRUD operations like create, alter, delete, update without using the SQL queries. So you can use PySQL or SQLite and you can perform all this. So key features of Django ORM: data abstraction, model definition, automatic schema generation. So mainly whatever you write the code in models.py, that will be a Django schema automatically generated. So that, sorry, database schema automatically generated. That's an advantage here. And query for Python, querying from Python, you can, instead of connecting to database, you can directly query from Python. Data migrations. Data migrations provides in command or make migrations or migrate option to make changes effectively in your database. So that we'll discuss in detail. I previously also told in the old videos or previous videos, but now still I'll explain you all. So firstly, backend database configuration. So for database configuration, you don't need to do much. So just open this, and in settings.py, if you go to settings.py, if you scroll down, here you can see the templates, root configuration. So your by default, your models and everything will be configured. Web application is configured. And database, here you can see the database which has django.db.backend and SQLite 3. So this is an inbuilt database. We can see that the database which is available here, we are using this actually. If you don't want to use this, if you want to change the database, what you can do is you can just click on this link. So this is just a docs actually. So I even want to show you all how you can check the code and how you can make changes accordingly. So here you can see the database, a simple SQLite 3 database configuration code. And if you don't want this, you want PostgreSQL. So you can see here the configuration schema, like how the PostgreSQL should be configured. So you will be giving the name of the database, username, password, and host URL and port number. That's it. It will be configured. Not only PostgreSQL, you have many options, MySQL, and many more databases actually. So if you have to just search it, that's all. This is a simple PostgreSQL configuration, which is here for Postgres. So you can even change it if you want. So I can just directly go back, and here I can check for Databases. So in documentation, so if you go back to documentation, so here inside this documentations, you will find here built-in requests and everything will be here. Middleware, what is the built-in middleware which you can use? And apart from that, here we need databases actually. So where is the database? Geographic framework. So you have some geographic frameworks as well. You can use it. Data validation, pagination. So if you want to do pagination, for pagination also you have the tools. And okay, so there should be database actually. If you see in this, no. Or you can directly search in this way. Django docs. Databases docs. So if you just search this, immediately you will get models and databases. So inside this, you will see now. So this is the simple modeling method. So you write the models in this way from Django.db import models, and you will define the schema here, complete, structure. And based on this, it generates the database schema. So this is not important for us. You can actually scroll down and see in next page, I guess. There is next page in which you can see the database connections. Okay, or you can directly search some database, or else that will be easy, I guess. Django MySQL database. Or let's make it a bit interesting. Instead of searching for MySQL, I'll search here MariaDB, MariaDB database docs example. So now here you can see here Django database documentation. So in this you can see here Postgres, MariaDB, MySQL, Oracle, SQLite. So if I click on MariaDB, so you can see here you can check out the MariaDB related support. So to use MariaDB on, use the MySQL backend, and in that you can see like how you can do it. Inspect DB and everything is mentioned here. Storage, okay, Python drivers, MySQL connector, Python, okay. You would see its configuration actually. You can see, yeah, this is the configuration. So name, engine options, read default, and client, your myCNF will be there. Inside that you will be defining. So actually you can see this in detail, you will understand. I'm not going to wait for it. So we'll go further. If you want to define some model schema, you can start it here. So for example, now this is the models.py which I have. I want to give this. Okay, and data manipulation with queries set. So this is for database manipulations. So what I can do is I'll copy this and I'll go back. We will test it out. So I'll go to models.py and here I'll add it out. So this is the, okay, it will throw an error. If you don't do migrations, you can see here it is actually, it will throw an error when you're going to execute. So I'll show you now how the migration actually works. So I'll make the migrations, Django manage.py make migrations. It will automatically detect. You can see a created model event. So migrations are done. Now migrate. So as I run this, you can see here it will start the migration now. So migrate is done. So migrations it has checked and it has created the migrate. So now if you want to create a new event, what you can do is I'll copy this out. So what I'll do is I'll open here Django manage.py shell. So you can even open a shell. Okay, I'll open the shell, and inside shell I can write this, enter. Name event is not defined. Okay, so that's because we haven't configured the database clear enough. That's not a problem. I'll show you how it works actually. Exit. Okay. Manage.py make migrations. Allow query sets allows you to interact with the database using Python. That was just an example. So you can directly write this as a code, I guess. Let me create something called, yeah, tests. So this outside we are, right? So I'll just create here a new file called tests.py. Okay, so inside that I'll add this event.object. So for this we need to check it out from Django.test. No, no, not this. Or yeah, let's go back to directly to that particular file only. So that will be easier. We can make it configurations, but it's gonna be a difficult. So I'll go to this from models import event. Okay, now this test is not required, so I'll delete this. Now we will change from this cd my app. Okay, now I'll run python manage.py tests.py, or okay, python tests.py is enough. We don't need to run manage.py. Okay, now if I run this, you can see here requested settings install application, but settings are not configured. You can either define the environment variable Django settings.py or call config. Okay, so let me solve this out. Why this error is coming? Okay, guys, I actually saw the code, this concepts why it was not working. The main reason was like you need to configure it to first run, and you need to connect it. You have to connect with the database and you have to first add that particular configurations. Then you can import all this. So that will take a bit time, and you don't need to understand this right now. When we are doing a project, we will understand this in detail. For now, let us discuss the advantages definitely about the database, like how you can insert the data and everything. So that's defined it down as well. This was just an example I was trying out. I'll show you all how it works. Okay. So example of a simple model here, you can see in this it was actually. So about the books and everything and how you have to do the things, everything is mentioned here. So this we will follow. For now, the advantages of using Django ORM is productivity boost, database flexibility, security, and maintainability. Since it is very easy to configure using Django pre-built template, it's very easy compared to Flask and Fast API. You don't need to write additional code and additional configurations. Just change the 4 to 5 lines in settings.py. It will auto configure. That is one of the main beauty, and it's easy to manage actually. So let us create this simple app instead of that. So I'll just copy out this code and I'll go there in the models.py. Let me change this out. So the events part, I'll change this to this. Okay. From Django.db, import models. Okay. So this is done. Now the author book, and based on that we do. Okay. And now manage.py make migrations, and migrate need to be done. So we will do that. Make migrations. Migrate. So after migrate, what we have to do now? So we have to step-by-step process of applying migration. So what does this internally does? You can see here and migrate. After that, what you have to do now? Make migrations app. So these are different types of migrations actually, which we are seeing. Now pip install Django, setting up Django project, CRUD operations. For CRUD operations, students, okay, we added them. Then register the model. So we need to register the model. First, let us register the model and we will further process it out. So first, I'll go to this. So here in the admin, I'll go to admin. So admin side, dot import. So what we are doing here, instead of using the students, I'll use class author and books. So that's what has been used, right? Class author and book. So here only students is there. So we will do what? We will use both. Register, import, author, comma, book. Register, author, comma, book. So once this registration is done, then you need to again rerun the migrations to apply them. So I'll migrate it again. Book has no attribute URLs. Okay, we haven't configured the URLs. So we need to, okay, URLs. Book has no attribute called URLs. App. So where is this error actually coming up? Django urls.py. So in settings, no, not in settings, in this urls.py, include site admin URL slash admin site.url. So I don't need this one right now. So I'll just comment this out and again I'll rerun. Book object has no attribute model. Okay. Okay, so I actually checked the schema for admin registration, right? We shouldn't actually give both at the same line like how I did previously. Now it might work. So let me just give a try here. py migrate. So now both are been configured. Yeah, you can see here now everything is reconfigured properly. Now what we have to do, we need to test this out. Okay, so let's test this out. Okay, so now we can actually start to use shell. So previously also, I guess that was the mistake I made. We need to actually register in admin the events which I haven't done. So I'll start to run the shell. And you can see here, I'm not directly taking the code from here. I still remember that we are using even, I mean, author and books, not student. So we need to take the reference from here, but we have to write our own code out. Okay. So let's go back there. We have taken actually author and book, right? So where was that? This was author and book. And for this, we need to write the shell configurations. I do remember that. So first, let me simply import from my app.model. So you can see here from my app.models import author. So this will be imported without any error. That's really great. Now let us see how can we insert document into that. Okay. Okay. So for this, what we need to do, we have to actually go one by one. So we have imported, right? Now the next target is to add the document. So author is equals to author object. So I have a document here. I'll directly use this one. So author is equals to author object. So we are creating the name J.K. Rowling and date of birth. So that's been created. Now print. So we will print this and see author ID. So the author ID of this is 1. Once this has been successfully saved. Now you can even create book as well. For book, what we need to do, we need to go back and here I will write comma. We need to even import book. Okay, book. So now the book is fine. So book can be seen. Before that, I'll show you all the author objects which have been read. Okay, so author.object. So you can see here query set author object 1. So only we have one object. That's what it is trying to show you all. So book object, we haven't created the book, right? So let me even create the book as well here. Book is equals to Harry Potter and publication date, and author is equals to author. So J.K. Rowling is the author for this. So we are tagging that. So we can even see the book object right now here. So if we print the book ID, we will get the ID. You can test that out. You can see here the query set and filter the book. So if you want to filter something also, it is possible with J.K. Rowling. You can see here query set 1 and get a specific document also. It is actually possible. Author is equals to author dot object get J.K. Rowling. Now I'll print the author and date of birth. Now I guess you can see the date of birth. So boom, you can see the name of the author and the date of birth. So this, I know this is actually database for related, and if you should learn more. So I'm just directly showing you all how you can read, write, and update the data. So write is done, read is done. Now update. So if you want to update the data, just author is equals to author dot object. Okay. So I'll select this, paste J.K. Rowling. So I'll tell. So J.K. Rowling was normally in that spaces, right? So now what I have done, I have given a multiple spaces here. So I'll press enter. Now what I'll do, I'll save it. You can see. So it is getting saved, meaning that you can actually see like what is the author actually. So if you want, you can print as well. Print author. So if you just print author now, you can see here another object one. So that's actually possible right now. So if I give print author name instead of this, yeah, where it was. So we don't need the date of birth of the author. So I'll directly remove the date of birth and I'll just give name. So you can see here there is multiple spaces which I have added that can be seen here. So this is how simple database works. I just don't want to complicate this. So I'm just exiting it out. How you can interact with the shell I'm trying to show you. So all these, whatever database changes you are making, that will actually be saved in your what you say, like this SQLite 3 database for now. But if you are using some other PostgreSQL, MariaDB, or even MySQL, so there when you connect with that, the entire data will be saved in that particular database. You can open using their workbench, or you can use pgadmin. You can open with the pgadmin and you can see there as well. So that's possible actually. And now the here you can see the CRUD operations which you are seeing here. You can give a try on this. So I would recommend you all to just check out the code, run and give a try. It will be very interesting for you all. So guys, that's all for today's video. Do like, share and subscribe the channel. Meet you all again in our next video. Bye bye.